Question 1375. If you had to be dumped into an ancient civilization with nothing, which would you choose?
Yeah, great. None of them are great if you have a vagina.
That's so
Some
true.
some are better than others.
We've only started living longer than men because
some are better than others. I'll say
we're
that.
not having all the babies that we can possibly have from the age of like 12 and up.
What's the question again? I want to hear it.
If you had to be dumped into an ancient civilization with nothing, which would you choose?
How are you defining ancient?
I will go with, for the context of this, before about 500 years.
So
I mean,
500 years ago.
Yeah.
500 years ago or
Yes.
500?
500
500.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be in.
It's not quite right, is it?
Long ago.
It was
I
around
would
500
say the
years ago.
secret.
Doorknob Head says
I would say
Amazonian.
Okay,
I would say
wanna
the
be
secret.
in, oh, sorry.
Go on, Ginger.
Well, wasn't the Renaissance like 1500s, 1600s? Or
Yes, I'm thinking.
yeah, I guess I think I'd pick that.
I would.
But I want to be in the Scottish Highlands because the plague didn't get there. Okay.
I would say the ancient
Ireland
civilization
would
of
work as
gingers.
well.
2 secs. Ginger?
The secret organization of gingers. That's mine. You know,
That's yours.
we were out. Yeah, we
Santi's-
were in the background causing all the chaos.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Santi says, dude, I'm going nowhere before soap was invented.
That was the Gluminati, right?
Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
We're the Illuminati.
Mark Caesar says China. I'm sure he doesn't have a point. And he,
Oh, China, good choice.
Oh,
Jen?
yeah. 500.
Oh. I don't know.
Pick the Renaissance. They had all those great dresses.
The biggest problem is anywhere you get dumped, you're not going to be able to speak the language. It doesn't. 500 years ago, languages have evolved so much now that we wouldn't understand a word.
no. But they had that problem with each other anyway.
Yeah,
I think you pick it up, basic communication, relatively quickly.
you'd learn. I mean,
I would
America is the
dread
best
the
way.
languages.
It'd be easier than taking a class.
Chad says, define ancient. I'm a damn fine Celtic specimen already.
I think I'd pick whatever culture did not just leave its shit in the street.
There were
Yeah, that'd
none.
be good.
There were
Yeah,
none.
If I had to,
So
if I had to pick a serious answer, if I had to pick a serious answer, I'd say Japan.
When?
But 500 years ago, though,
Imperial Japan.
At least 500 years ago. It could be 1,000 years ago. It could be.
I would pick Japan.
Fair enough.
That could be. I don't know.
Jeff?
Possibly Rome.
Yeah.
But I'd actually point out, Julie, there are some societies still around today that have been around for hundreds of years that are the matriarchal societies. So you just find them, you'd be okay.
Yeah, can you name one? I know there's one that
Musou in China.
that
still about to
practices
this day.
polyandry, which is interesting.
Rome had
There's
toilets.
There's one in Costa Rica, and Indonesia, I believe, as well.
Rome had toilets, but they had a shared sponge on a stick.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh.
there was some.
Hence the saying, getting hold of the wrong end of the stick.
Yeah.
There was some ancient. There were some Indian, American Indian cultures that treated white two-spirited people as gods.
Yeah.
Treated what?
That would never have got them into trouble.
Yeah.
It did not last long once.
I don't know how many there actually were, though, in serious. Cause
No, there weren't a lot. There was a few though, but you
There's
also run the risk of if you got caught by another tribe of getting put to death. So
There's
Not
always
great.
there's always a lot of myths around the fact that a lot of the tribes in the Americas first thought when they first encountered white people thought they were gods. That didn't happen anywhere.
No, it was
near
only
as
if they were.
much.
It was generally only if their own people were born with pigment problems and were considered two spirits. So
there was a brief moment when the Aztecs thought the Spanish might possibly be, but it didn't take them a lot. It didn't. Let's put it this way: before they actually made they were well aware. They were well aware of the Spanish having landed. Several months before they actually made contact. By the time they made contact, they knew full well these weren't gods.
What about the Olmecs? Just because I'd like to learn what they were about.
Yeah. Just make sure you keep your head attached.
That is interesting.
There is no evidence that they were into human sacrifice. There's very little evidence about them at all.
No, they were definitely into human sacrifice, but whether or not
you
it
think
was
it's a
how
matter.
integrated into society it was
It's
is a different matter.
it's not everybody.
Again?
Well, I mean, actually, you go back far enough, everybody did human
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
That was Stonehenge. But yeah.
Right, I'm going to have to... Oh, no, I'm going to have to move... Anja!
Whatever era Boudica was in, because I think if I could hook up with someone like her, I would survive.
About 60 AD, Britain and under the Romans.
Yeah, if someone like her, if I could get around them, I think I could survive.
She didn't, so I don't see what.
I was going to say, Nox says around 1400 AD, Leif Erikson led his Vikings to Vinland or North America. Northern cultures in the area thought the white people were gods. At that point, that would make sense.
Yeah, they thought they got to the point where they butchered them
But
and
did
sent
they?
them packing. Yeah,
The Vikings were more
eventually.
interested in raiding than killing, wasn't they?
The Vikings were
Raiding and raping, basically.
pushed out of North America.
Yeah, there's a reason there's
they didn't-
no like ancient Viking settlements that we can find.
There is like some ruins of a small settlement, I believe, in Newfoundland, but they weren't there long. Well, generally, a lot of the a lot of the ancient Scandinavians, a lot of the time they've travelled somewhere when they're trading. Viking kind of meant raider. It's kind of more a description of what they did than who they were as a people.
Yeah, like going a Viking.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Right. Microraptor.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Julie on this one. Being a queer person, the past seems shit compared to now and compared to the future. So I don't know. And if you take my interest in history, there's not one civilization that one I want to see. I want to see them all. I want a TARDIS, basically.
Yeah. I'll go with the TARDIS. Yeah, let's give us all a TARDIS.
Bounce backwards and forwards.
You could
Jenny.
Oh, I said the Renaissance.
The Renaissance. It's really an ancient civilization. Oh, yeah, go on then. Jen, did you pick one?
You were the one who said 500 years.
Yeah, you
Jen?
did qualify.
Yeah, that's all.
Well, I wanted to give an outside edge. I just didn't want to. Yeah.
I have no desire to live in some civilization that doesn't have flushable toilets.
Jen.
What, me?
Yeah.
You want a serious answer from me? I would like to meet the Aboriginal civilization that actually built a aqueduct, because they were slightly before the more nomadic Aboriginals. They found the aqueducts in Australia, but we know fuck all about that particular Aboriginal group. And they built a village with an aqueduct and everything. I'd love to know what they were like. So yeah, I'll get that.
That works.
And I can't tell you when that was because I can't remember.
Very cool.
Animal Science TV says the Spartans. Tonight I dine in heck. Santi says I'd like to check out the first humans live like a human was meant to be. How's a human meant to live? Seraphim says going with Rome.
I gotta say, because there was some. I gotta say this, as someone mentioned the Spartans. I saw something earlier today with some of these fucking idiots that stormed the Capitol last week. are making comparisons to themselves and the Spartans,
Oh,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I wonder if they knew how much of the, homoeroticism there was in
Yes.
the sort of Spartan military culture, they'd be making that comparison. This is why you don't read Frank Miller's 300 to get an idea of what the Spartan civilization was like.
mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Right, we need to do this last question.
David. Oh, I'm sorry.
I like
Go
what
on.
Doorknob had said about what I said. Aqueduct sounds like a kid's animation.
Come on, Jenny.
Dave, you should bring this question back sometime. And instead of where would you want to live, what cultures would you want to be able to observe, like you're on TV or something like that?
Yeah.
I would love to see. I always forget the name of it. The civilization that was built into the rock walls in the Mideast.
Petra?
Yes, Petra. I would love to see that culture operating. It was just wow.
I think the one just out of sheer fascination, because there's still a lot we don't really know about it, is would be Punic Carthage.
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.